Hi there, it's Julia's Jolly GMPs. I've recently taken a liking to playing these mystery escape room solving puzzle games, and although it's very different from my usual Free Gross music tutorials, I've decided to still record a walkthrough of me playing this game. I've already finished playing this game, and this is a voiceover. So, in this game, we are trapped inside a mysterious book. This reminds me of Tom Riddle's diary in Harry Potter, weirdly. I see in the upper part there's something on the wall, but I cannot see clearly. So, after inspecting everything in this frame, I jump to another one. And a very important point is to inspect every frame logically and with a clear direction that you remember, either from top to bottom and from left to right, without losing or missing any details. Now this box, I cannot unlock it, so I take a mental note that I need to find some kind of key. And this door right here, I also need a key to unlock it. And I see another lock on the bottom where there's 9 of these locks. These small circles. The numbers I'll take note and see if anything correlates with it. And there's a weird symbol. After inspecting this frame, tapping frantically, I choose to jump to the left side. So here's the box again, and a stove. We might want to light it up later. Find a key in the drawer. There's no handle for the other drawer, so we need a handle. We've also seen a similar picture as that one on the desk, so take a mental note as well. It is important to inspect and remember the different patterns, and like this, the screwdriver that I need to unlock the lock right there. The important part of these mystery puzzle games is to take mental note of every small detail. Make sure to remember the different patterns and shapes like circles and triangles. So I can zoom into this small hole right here. So I think that I may need something small to poke through that hole. These are all subtle clues. Like, there's an advantage when you're doing these kinds of games, is that when you can zoom in, you know that something needs to be done there. There is either some kind of clue that you can find at the place where you zoom in, or you need other things that you find, either items that you find in other places, to go back to the place where you can zoom in. So because I just found the binoculars, I remember that there is a place on the wall that I cannot see clearly. So I come back to this wall and select my binoculars. Also, I inspect the item and see that there are obviously other different details, such as the string on that binocular, which is oddly specific. And these quarters and semicircles remind me of the motion of this drawer, so I immediately go check using the different kinds of quarters and semicircle motions. And yes, I unlocked it. Great. To retrieve a remote control. As I said earlier, I like to inspect my items, so I inspect the remote control. I see these symbols, which reminds me of that weird symbol I saw earlier in the first frame, and I see that I need some batteries for the remote control. This is where I inspect and go through my items to put the key to the lock or different clues to different puzzles. And good enough, I unlocked this to retrieve the batteries, and I see that the fuse can be put here as well. The batteries go to the back of the remote controller, which means that the power is on and I pressed a few buttons to see how this control works. So here's the funny part. I just finished assembling the remote control, but I forgot, and I hesitated right here for a little bit because I knew that there was something I wanted to do, but I forgot. So I inspected my items and saw that on the left side there's this newspaper, where it's perfect for the stove. So I did this as well. But then there's some mindless scrolling going on through here, and I'll just cut through and jump to the place where I solved it. So when in doubt, look at your items. And from this, I realized, oh right, there is this remote controller, and I remember that weird symbol. So, not this one, and I jumped back to this one. Yes, this symbol right here. And I thought, oh, that's what I forgot. These symbols are a combination of these three symbols. Keeping a clear mind really is very important. And I get the fuse. So it's time to put the fuse to the last of these three. Yep, power on so we can go on this elevator. Once I'm out of this elevator, I think about my next step. It is to still thoroughly inspect everything around this place. That's the important part, to not miss any details. Oh, something shiny there, so I see the hook, and the pad is missing. Empty can retrieved. Oh, screwdriver needed here as well. I opened the elevator door and spot something weird on the left side right here. And that's a little thing to go through that hole. Mental note noted. Okay, so apparently that wasn't my first thought right here. I saw the string and remembered that I can use the hook, but found out that only the hook did not help. So I remembered the string and used the knife to cut the string to attach the hook with the string. So I can lower this into the drain and hopefully retrieve that little thing down there. And I get a knob, which I also took a mental note that I needed this knob for the drawer, and retrieved the matches, which obviously were there to light up the stove. With the stove lighted up, but we still have the matches and Philip's head. So nothing really happened to that stove, but I bet we need it somewhere else. And this is where I remembered that I needed something small to go through that hole. Okay, got a little piece there. I still retrieved the Phillips head, which means that I will need it later. And I retrieved that little slot thingy. I remember that this small metal fixture, there is a shape similar to this right here. And yep, it fitted. Also, these 9 thingies, 9 shapes, very similar. So I decided to make it turn on and off just as the picture showed us. I was waiting for some mechanism or some noise, but it didn't happen. But I did spot that the lights were now turned on. So I know that the switches are in charge of turning on the lights. And oddly, there are 9 lights, which reminded me of that lock on this door down there, with 9 little circles. It even has that little one on the top middle, just like this one, this light right here. So I decided to press down the circles with the lights that are turned on. but you need to get the orientation right. So my strategy was to go from the odd light that is above and use it as the anchor, and go from left side to right side, and remember the patterns of the lights, whether it's on, off, on, or on, off, these kind of patterns, to unlock this padlock. After unlocking the lower part, I inspect all these little items again. This bucket of frozen water reminds me of the stove. I want to retrieve it and take it back to put it on the stove, but I cannot do that. And this is when I remember that I have a small tin can and there is snow outside of the door. I might be able to fill up the can with snow, yep, and then bring the snow inside to heat it up into hot water and then pour it into the bucket of ice. I'm quite proud of myself. I'm glad that my plan worked. I get this little handle. It's odd that it's called a handle and not just some wooden knob. So I assume that it is for assembling it with the Phillips head to have a screwdriver. Which, yep, it worked. And so now with the screwdriver, I remember that I needed a screwdriver in various places. One is this place above on the top of the ladder, and this opens to the small attic area. And another part is on the second floor, this area. This little box right here, I needed a screwdriver. These are all put on my mental note, and I'm glad that I did not forget about it. So this is where the missing pad got there, and I assembled the remote control according to the shape on that again, and use it on this one to retrieve a little box. I also inspect it right away. There are 9 slots and I can put in the square part, so I assume that there are other different shapes because I saw on the table downstairs there is a circle and a triangle. So I assume that there is some relationship between the little box and the different shapes. I look at the items I have and think about what I should do next. There are still matches, so I look at the stove, but nothing happened. And when I opened the elevator, I had an idea that struck my mind. That is, when the elevator is downstairs, what happens upstairs? And this is when I find another clue. So there's something on the wall, and this asks me if I should jump. And of course I jumped. There's something in the wall, which is this one, and I can zoom in. I've also seen this when sitting in the elevator. I seen it outside of the walls when we were going up and down. But now nothing is left, and I try to go back up, but it says that I cannot reach it, and the screen actually fades black. I did not expect this. It was a bad end. This game is fun, but the video is getting a bit too long, so I'll continue my gameplay in the next video. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and check out my other videos on my channel. I'll see you later.